Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Oh, good evening, my friends. It is just two sleeps until the big game heat. I'm Johnny Danger. With me here is Heat Override, and we are live at drroto.com. Get out your insurance cards, break out your copays. As the man says, the office is now open. How you doing, Heat?
I'm doing good. How you doing today, Danger? I'm actually surprised. I thought you'd be wearing a Niners hat.
No, man, that's bad luck.
Oh, okay.
That's bad luck, bro. We only wear the gear on game day.
Okay. I was not trying to really troll you with the Rams shirt. I just thought that this made it more of a football-y kind of podcast. So I was like, okay, that's what it is. For
sure. Well, what are we going to talk about today, Heat? What's the deal?
Dude, it's all about betting today, man. First, we're going to bring the pain. Oh, yeah. I had to get that in there. But we're going to be talking about betting today. It's easily. I hit both sites. Danger went. He's got the optimizer in. He's hitting DK hard. So right now we have a bunch of different bets that we're looking at. Some crazy ones bought by me, and we'll explain that. And we're going to talk about it. Maybe a little game theory out through the show, man. Because I mean, this is a big game. This is a big game for the Niners. This is a big game for Coach Harbaugh. This is a big game for McCaffrey after the year he had, and this is a big game for Mahomes to go 2-2 in Super Bowls. But to go 3-1 in Super Bowls, that's a different kind of thing, man.
Right.
You don't know when you're going to get back. You don't want to be 500, right? What do you think, man?
No, you don't want to be 500. I think that Tom Brady is paying off these reps to keep Mahomes off his record. That's what I think.
Oh, I mean that is definitely it. I had a huge argument a couple of years ago with a guy about Brady and Mahomes after that first Super Bowl, and then they ended up meeting that year. And it was like, come on, man, that whole game stunk. And again, it was one of those games where you just didn't want to see it. And Brady happened, and he gave him that loss. So, if he's going to surpass Brady, he has to go 3-1 right now and not 2-2 because he has that loss against Brady.
He does. And, he might just lose Kelsey this year. It might be over for that connection. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So people, I mean, come on, it's you and I. We're going to talk conspiracy theories. It. It's what we do. There's a whole channel at Dr. Roto's, Discord based on conspiracy theories. So this whole Taylor Swift thing, right? People are like, this is made for it. They want her to win. They want him to win. They want the proposal afterwards. I say, nay, friend. I say, nay. I say they want them to lose because if they win, Kelsey might retire, and then Swift and Kelsey don't come back next year.
Yeah. Hey, that's actually, I'll take all of that because really with his brother going out, but then you see the tabloids saying that he might come back. Yep. That's Jason. And now it's like, no, I think it would be fun to see both Kelseys ride out, but that's why it has to be 3-1 because 3-1, he wins, he does a proposal, he grinds. If he loses, he's going to be hungry and they're going to want to come back next year. They're going to want to think what happened, man. This game is amazing. I love the way that both teams match up.
Yeah, I'm getting excited. I've done a lot of research, and I don't know if you know this, but the team wearing white, the 49ers, has won 16 in the last 13.
Yeah.
The team wearing white has won 6 times in a row when Jim Nantz announces the Super Bowl. That's all I need to know. I'm putting the money line Niners down. We got this.
I was looking at some of these prop bets and the bets that we'll get to it, and one of them really stuck out. But the thing is when you get to it, and if they can control that game, if they can just be patient, go back to that, be patient Niners ball, stick with McCaffrey. He doesn't need 20-yard runs or 15-yard runs. You don't need a 30-yard reception to make your offense move. Sometimes you have to grind this out. And if this is going to be a Super Bowl between these two powerhouse teams, it's going to need to be a grind fest. It's going to need to be plays that open up other plays, like the play action, trick plays, which we'll get to a couple of prop bets on those as well, too, because that's going to be fun.
Well, I tell you what, you got to tell yourself a story, right? We'll talk a little DFS for Showdown as well. And when you're building Showdown lineups, I put an article out just now on drroto.com, and we were talking about a little theory, right? When it comes to showdowns, you have to build yourself a narrative. You have to correlate a lineup. You have to figure out the story you're going to tell yourself. Now, you can tell yourself multiple stories when you're playing multiple lineups and showdowns, right? You build a lineup for the Niners winning in an over, and the Niners winning in an under, the KC winning in an over, KC winning in an under. But let's break down a little stats here. I did a little research on the year, and the 49ers in 13 wins averaged 33 points a win. They averaged a victory of 17 points. 17-point margin of victory average this year. That's crazy.
That is.
To me, there's a couple things, okay? The Packers game was an outlier. Okay,
yep.
That was a game that they don't normally win. Two things happened in the playoffs versus the Packers and the Lions for the 49ers. They've never, ever had a more than 5-point deficit going into the fourth quarter and won. Shanahan has never as a head coach, going back to his first head coaching days. They did it. Second week against the Lions, they've never been more than a touchdown underdogs going into the second half and winning. They did it again. But that's not 49er football. It's not. In their 5 losses this year, they've only managed 18 points, and they've lost by an average of 7. So that says to me, they dominate or they lose. That's what the 49ers do. Do they have the ability to do that this week, or is it going to be a gritty slugfest? What do you think?
Well, since I already talked about the slugfest, and the reason why I talk about that slugfest is the defense of the Kansas City Chiefs. The defense of the Kansas City Chiefs have been in every one of my defense lineups, DFS lineups, for the past 8 weeks. It's been really around since Nick Bolton came back. The Chiefs defense was okay. They took a lot of losses during that time, but the minute Bolton came back, the secondary really stepped up. No matter where Bolton is, he definitely always has to have a hat on him, or somebody needs to know where he's at. So that's why, like last game, he didn't get a lot of tackles. He was more so just manning around, walking around, because he was looking for Lamar. So, when Bolton's back into his normal, because McCaffrey's going to run. That's why when you talk about the showdown slate, McCaffrey has to be almost on every one of your lineups. But back to it, the Kansas City Chiefs defense is geared to stop them. And then the secondary is what's really the key. It's Chris Jones, Bolton, and that secondary playing solid. And of course, L'Jarius Sneed. That's going to be the biggest question, because I think Sneed will probably go on Ayuk, because Samuel runs a lot of different plays. As you know, he always runs these different plays where he takes these sweep runs or these screens or everything like that. So unless they really just lock Sneed on Debo, which is the obvious call, you would think that most likely what's going to happen is they're going to stop Ayuk and let Debo do his little trickery stuff while keeping Bolton looking around for McCaffrey. But there's a few other.
I've seen KC play 2 different ways, though, right? So Sneed isn't like Revis back in the day. They don't always travel the number 1 with him. He sticks to a side for the most part. I think he shadows something like 60% of the time. So he does shadow, but not a ton. And what the Niners are going to do is they're just going to take Debo like they always do, and they're going to start him on the left. He's going to go in motion to the right, and they're going to watch to see, did Sneed follow him? That's what they're going to do. I think they're going to try to stay away from him. And I called this in my article, the Niners don't win unless Christian McCaffrey has 150 all-purpose yards.
I agree with that. I 100 agree with that. And that leads to a little bit of the props we'll talk about with McCaffrey right there. He gets the ball so much. Shanny is going to give him his carries alone. He'll probably have at least 20 carries. But I think if they're going to work him into the passing game, which I think that you can exploit the outside linebackers of the Chiefs, plus the way Chris Jones rushes, sometimes it can leave a side open, which when you talked about the moves with Debo, when they do the Debo screen and that, if that side's open, Debo's going to be running back. Now, Sneed does try to hit, but the problem for every team is that anybody that ever tries to tackle Debo Samuel, it doesn't work.
Yeah, he runs the first guy over every time.
Yeah, he does not get popped. And that's a huge thing. So when you said that that's the work, when you said that where Sneed's going to go, that's going to dictate it perfectly. Because I think if Ayuk steps into this game, this is one of those 4 or 5 for 155 Ayuk games. That would also say that the San Francisco 49ers are probably winning this game.
Right.
But if the Chiefs get that back end exposed like that, Ayuk would be the guy to do it. And like you said, if Snead follows Samuel, that'll put the other guys on Ayuk, and that's when he can take it long. Or
absolutely.
Jennings.
So let's get into the prop betting, and first we'll start about game betting. Okay. So right now the aggregate is Niners -2. Okay. Mm-hmm. So pop this into the simulator. Now the simulator is not available on drroto.com. Our good friend James McCool over at Paydirt DFS, which has been on Doc's show. He's a friend of the show, and he's a great guy. And I use his simulator to supplement our optimizer and our projections. And mm-hmm. so I popped just the game alone into the simulator. So this is what happens. Okay. His simulator takes the simulated stats, right? Projected stats for both teams, game mm-hmm. scripts, all that, feeds it into a computer, 10,000 simulations it spits out, and then gives you the final result. That's what it does. Okay. Yep. So it fed this game matchup into the simulator 10,000 times. And what it showed was Vegas's -2 is a 53% odd win for betting purposes. Okay. -2 mm-hmm. is 53% in favor of San Francisco. San Francisco came out winning in 10,000 simulations 61% of the time. It's saying that the true odds of this game should be -3.5, not -2. That's a pretty strong endorsement for a San Francisco bet with the -2. So that obviously pleases me. I like this.
Yeah, I mean,
I like this. Now, anything can happen in any given game.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And Mahomes happens. I mean, we already watched the Niners blow a lead with 6 minutes left in a Super Bowl already.
Yeah, so, we didn't need to talk about that. That was in the past, Heath. That's just a low blow. So it's just a low blow. Also, remember when I said that that the team in white has won 16 of the last 16 out of 13 the last 19 games? Yep. The last team to lose wearing white uniforms might have been the 49ers the last time they matched up against Kansas City.
Yeah. And the thing is it's really spelling good for you guys. You guys got that right there. But in the end, it's going to come down. If you guys, so if this current build Niners team is in the lead in the fourth quarter by more than 10 points, I'm not sure that the Chiefs can come back and beat this team because
that defense rallies when they have the lead.
And McCaffrey turns into another mode.
He does.
Another mode. That's a mode that we could debate why he wasn't the MVP over Lamar, but whatever, sure. Lamar got it. I got it. But McCaffrey has another mode. If Lamar had another mode, he would have beat Kansas City.
Sure.
But he didn't. And that's what McCaffrey is set out to do.
All right. So here's my theory on the straight up game bet, Pete, before we get into the props. Okay. So here's my theory. If you think this game goes over 47.5, I think that the numbers show that is a 49ers win, and that is a 49ers win with the points that you could probably tease from 2, probably all the way up to -4.5. And if you really want to get, crazy, -6.5, because the numbers show when the Niners come out and win and score 30 points, they win by more than a touchdown. Yeah. If you think the game is going to be a more defensive battle and a slower paced game, which a lot of people think, I think the most popular money right now, it's like 71% on Kansas City outright. And there's a lot of favoring of the under. So if you think it's going under 47.5 points, well, that is a bet for Kansas City. And I think that the plus points is a sucker bet. I don't think you need it. If you think it's going under 47, you just pair that with a Kansas City money line, or you go ahead and tease them to -2.5.
Yeah.
That's my two bets.
I look at it this way. I mean, it's perfect. So in my ideas, of course, I already told you, I'm taking Kansas City 27-23. Yep. That on FanDuel right now is a plus 18,000. Yeah. So that's most likely not going to happen. Sure. But if it does happen, there's also some kicker props that are out. They have some special props where is there going to be more field goals than touchdowns in a game, and a score like that would present that.
Right.
But at the same time, and there's a tie on that as well too. But at the same time, when you were talking the Niners winning big, I feel that the Niners might be losing in the fourth quarter when McCaffrey scores that touchdown to do 30-27, which on FanDuel right now gives you a plus 9,500. So that's a lot less than, of course, the other one. But if you just, this is just for giggles, Niners 30, Chiefs 28 is a 31,000 odds. So that's kind of a little thing.
You're playing exact score odds. You're a crazy man.
That's
you're crazy, man.
Crazy. I hit it.
I love you for it. I love you for it. I love you for it. Well, we'll get into your crazy ones in a little bit. Let's go through some regular props. If anyone is listening, and there's a few of you out there, and you want us to run your prop bets through a simulator, let you know what they think, I'd be happy to run that for you. So go ahead and comment wherever you're watching, and we'll get that done. So let's go. Let's just go through receiving or passing yards.
Okay.
Let's go through passing yards. So I've got Mahomes right now on DK. Okay. They've got him at 261.5. Where do you like that bet? Do you like that bet at all? Or you just avoid that?
That's a hard defense with 261. Yes, if he gets a big pass and they go off, it's easy for Mahomes to get 300. I like the 225 one a little more, so that gives you a little more leeway. Sure. If, again, this goes into a defensive game, you're only going to be probably looking at Mahomes 225. I actually have a prop bet that I found. I think it was called a bets for the Swifty on DK. So we're going to throw that in there too. But yeah, I told, if you want to go over, if you're going to go 261, then why don't do 275? Right?
Yeah, I mean, teasing, it's always the option, right? But right now, Vegas says 261.5. I popped that in the simulator. It says that he only goes over that in 40.7% of 10,000 simulated games. So that's a hard no. That's a hard no. So just so you know, I only make the bet if it tells me it's 69% nice or higher. That's it.
Why not?
I don't do it unless it's literally 70% or more. I won't do it. So that's a no bet. And it's also a no bet on the under, because then it's saying it's 59% likely on the under. That's a no bet. So unless you're going to tease the bet, which of course will lower your payouts. But it doesn't matter if you're doing a 14 parlay, it's
it's just throw-ins.
Let's go look at Purdy. So Purdy, they've got at 247.5. What do you think of 247.5?
All right. Now that's the whole Purdy thing. So if San Francisco is up and going to win this game, I have to agree with that. That means that Deebo Samuel is going off, and McCaffrey is getting the swing passes where the Chiefs can be exposed, as we said earlier. And those passes are going to every catch. He's going to have that one where he hits it and he goes for like 15, 20. So right there, I like that bet. And for me, again, going back to the alt 225 or the alt 200, you'll lose a little bit. But when you parlay, say you just parlay both the passing yards together, you get a better odd. But I definitely think Purdy going over the 241.5, if that's what you said, that's definitely a positive bet.
So my simulator says 52% of the time he goes over. So slight favorite, still no bet for me. Can't do it. Can't do it. All right, we're going to keep going through all the regular. We're going to go through rushing and receiving, and then we'll start talking about some defensive, which I think people sleep on it. They sleep on it. The defensive props.
Oh, dude. I'm telling you right now, live defensive props, live betting's where it's at, really, honestly. If you want to win big, quick money, you go looking real fast at a certain point of the game, and you can find a couple of things. Of course, you have to be able to identify game flow. Most of us can do that. So when you identify the game flow and because you watch these teams, the plays that they have run for these certain players, if you get something like early in the third quarter, they got Noah Gray over 1.5 yards catching because he hasn't caught a pass, that could be literally a plus 230 at that time. And that's when you pop that. And then
I think Noah Gray's averaging like four targets a game. So
he had 5 targets. He caught 2 passes last game for 8 yards and that's what's going on with the Chiefs. Even when Kelce isn't in there right now, Gray is really running it out, and he's performing. He's been solid as a backup when Kelce has been out, and always back. It's always been a Gray show. So for me, when you see those as a live bet, and then say, hey, San Francisco might be winning at this time. And McCaffrey, if you catch him slipping, could be 13 yards off of an over. You hit that. You hit the live bet parlay boost, because you do get that sometimes. You could be looking at a 5, 6, 7, 100. You hit that. You throw a couple of units on that. You could win $16, and that $16 can be yours within 3 minutes.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into rushing props. Okay, we'll start with CMC. He's at 89.5. That's the Vegas total right now. Straight up, 89.5. What's your thoughts on 89.5? Rushing only, not rushing in receiving.
Yeah, rushing only. Rushing only at 89. Look, McCaffrey, even in a bad game, gets around 95 to 100, 115. Sure. And the Chiefs, again, I'm not going to try to rag. They have been the best defense, the most solid defense, in my opinion, the whole playoffs. They have locked everybody up. Locking up Miami and Buffalo like that, that's not easy, but they did it. So when the Chiefs come into this game, they can do that. But McCaffrey's going to get the ball so much, and his yards per average is just beautiful. He always goes forward. He is, I ain't got to say nothing. That's an easy bet.
All right. Well, Simulator says he goes over 89.5% or 5%, 89.5 yards out of 10,000 simulated games. He accomplishes it 62.56% of the time. So that's a borderline. I agree with you. I think you can tease that down to 75. Even tease it down to just 80. You could do. But it's a borderline. Still not for me. Still not for me. Let's keep going. All right, we got Isaiah Pacheco. What do you think his rushing yard over under is right now?
I think our last I checked was a 67.5.
Oh, it's exactly 67.5, sir. What do you think of that?
I like that, but if this becomes like a shootout, I think that he might get that more evened out. So I've been a 50-yard and a 40-yard guy, especially in the parlays with Pacheco. But I like it. The way the Chiefs have been moving the ball with Pacheco, again, going back to all the podcasts that I've done for Bring the Pain, the number one thing I've said is defense on the Chiefs, the running of Pacheco, bar none. That's what got the Chiefs here.
So 10,000 simulations fed into the machine, spit out that Isaiah Pacheco goes over 67.5 yards in 73.58% of games.
Woo!
That's a bet, my friend. I'm in. We have found the first leg of my 14-leg parlay right there. Pacheco over 67.5. The Niners have struggled against the run. They have, and it's probably a product of who they're playing. But this is my theory on that. They're going to try to bottle up Kelsey. They're going to shift Greenlaw and Warner out into coverage. They're going to double team this guy. They're going to leave 4, 5, 6 yard chunk runs up the middle all day long.
Yep. That's what you got to do. You have to take Kelsey out, because then you have to move to Rice. And then from Rice, it gets bad.
Oh, it gets real bad. And if they can keep Ward with Rice most of the time, they can fix that one-on-one.
I agree with that.
So Pacheco over 67.5. I like it. I'm in. That's my first bet. All right. Here's the current topic. How about Brock Purdy rushing? How about that? Brock Purdy rushing, his prop right now is 12.5. Now, he doesn't rush a whole lot, but that's what basically allowed them to stay in the game against Detroit. 12.5 is the number. Over under, sir.
Oh, man, that's over, especially the way I've been talking about Chris Jones and that man getting a sack. Purdy is going to be running. And if he is going to win this Super Bowl again for the 49ers, he's going to have to make plays with his legs. They talked about it during one of the games leading up, that today's quarterbacks have changed, that like Josh Allen, of course, Lamar Jackson, and everybody else, Mahomes, don't want to leave him out, that the stationary quarterback is a thing of the past, of course. You have to be able to pick up those first downs, go for it when you need to run.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's why that is an easy. I got a crazy pop that combines it. But,
hey, shout out to our first comment of the night, my boy G. Bang, bang, brother. Bang, bang.
Bang, bang. Niners gang. Oh, yeah.
I love it. All right. So we fed Purdy 12.5 yards into 10,000 simulations, and it spit out that he goes over that in 60.36% of those games. All right. It's on the fence. It's a no for me to add to my 14 leg parlay. I need 70% or better. I need it. I need it.
I agree.
All right. Let's see. We got another comment here. G says, got to watch out for Pat Mahomes running 3 yards back before he kneels as well.
What's up,
I hate that rule in the NFL.
That's true, but that's why you play those bets and you got to cover your end.
That's right. All right. He's asking for some Pat Mahomes props. If you missed it, we had Mahomes Vegas total of 261.5 yardage, and he does not hit that. He only hits that 40.7% of the time in the simulation, so we're no there. Let's get to his rushing prop, 25.5. That's a big number, Heat.
Yeah,
that's a big number.
That means, if this is the thing, before you run that simulation, if he's getting that, I think San Francisco's winning, right? Because he's having to run. He's not getting anybody open, and he's having to make plays with his legs. If he's making plays for his legs, and most of the time, when Mahomes does that, he usually does get a good chunk, 8, 9, 10, 12 yards. He does that 2-3 times, he'll probably hit that prop bet. But again, you want Mahomes passing, and that's
right.
Practically the
there was that stretch for Lamar, maybe was it last year, where every game he ran over 60 yards, they lost. And that goes to speak exactly what you were just saying, is if Mahomes is running 30 or 40 yards, they're in trouble because they're getting covered. So I put that into the simulator, 25.5 yards. He hits that out of 10,000 times, 50.84% of the time. That's a no bet.
Yeah.
Can't do it. That basically means that's right on the money. That 25 yards is there, right?
Yeah. And Doc says this all the time. He always says that Vegas is really, really good with their numbers.
Really
These sites are really, really good. And his quote is that when you miss it by either a yard, a half a yard, or a catch. But when you hit it by 2 or 3.
Sure.
So that's always in play with that. And I agree with that. And that's why some of the bets that I did highlight out, it has some of those on there, and they're trying to go to people into those bets. And sometimes those aren't always the best bets to take. Again, highlighted bets.
All right, let's keep going down the list here. We've got Deebo Samuel. I don't know if you looked at it, but it's only 16.5 yards, Heat. It's only 16.5 yards. So here's the problem. Deebo either runs for 12 yards or he runs for 50 yards.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So I hate this bet. The simulator hates this bet. I popped it in. Out of 10,000 games, he only goes over 16.5, 33% of the time. The problem with that, now that you would think that's a smash under, right? The problem with it is he can beat that on one play, and then you're looking at your 10-leg parlay with the big red X on it.
Yeah.
So I can't touch it. I can't touch it.
That's exactly it. Like, you cannot put that in there. It's nice to have it, but really there's other bets you can have.
Now, if you just want to bet that straight up for fun, great. But I'm not adding it in my parlay. I can't do it. All right, let's move on to a couple of little bit players. Let's go to the backup running backs. CEH. 6.5 yards rushing is his prop. 6.5. You can't tell me he's not going to come in and spell Pacheco for a couple runs, right?
Right. And that play last one, I took an in-game bet where he was at like 12 yards or 8 yards and the over was 25. That's when he had like a 25-yard run. So he smashed it. So CEH, even though we don't always like him, and he did provide for a lot of my fantasy teams down the stretch in my fantasy football seasonal leagues, he can hit those totals on one run, or it'll take him. But you said a few times, all he needs is 4 or 5 carries. And if the Chiefs are moving the ball exactly like you said, they're covering Kelsey, then he should be able to hit that decently too. But
I think Casey needs to run the ball and control the clock, and that means keeping their running backs fresh. And that means rotating them in. So here's the deal. I'll put that into the simulator, 6.5 yards. It went over 71.36% of the time. That's leg number 2 of my parlay, sir. So I've got Pacheco over 67.5. I've got CEH over 6.5 because I think if they stay in this game, it's through the ground. That's my take. You have to tell yourself a narrative to put these parlays together. My narrative is a 37 35-27 win for the Niners. So I see scoring, I see yardage. This is what I want to see.
Yeah.
A couple of interesting notes on CEH before you smash that bet. I'm going to give you a warning. There's somebody on the IR that could get activated tomorrow. Yeah. Jerick McKinnon.
There he is.
If he sneaks in that game, we got a problem for our CEH bets. So while I like this bet, I don't know if I can click send on this 14 leg parlay that I've built until we find out if McKinnon's playing. If McKinnon's playing, let me tell you something. My DraftKings Showdown friends, that $200 buy-in for Jerick McKinnon will pay off.
Yeah.
So, he shows up in the Super Bowl, man. He shows up in big games if he can get on the field. He limited practice yesterday. Mm-hmm. I didn't actually check the practice report today. So I think they said he was going to practice today. If he full practice today and is in the walkthrough tomorrow, that boy's going to get some touches. Just saying.
Oh, dude. And he doesn't need to be in the game for a long extended time. They just need him at the goal line. They have to get down to the goal line 5-6 yards back. You put him in, you bring Pacheco in, because they've been running Pacheco and CEH a little bit together at times. So if they put McKinnon in at that, then you're really scared, because is Pacheco going to come up the middle, or do you now have to cover McKinnon? And most likely the guy who's going to end up covering McKinnon is going to probably be Greenlaw.
Yeah.
So when they swing him out, Greenlaw is going to have to make that play unless like Ward plays up or Ward. Right? That's going to be hard, and that does treat. There's another player too, Kadarius Toney. That guy, he the plays that Mecole Hardman failed at and destroyed and almost derailed the Chiefs with are the plays that Toney has egged us with all year long. Those are his plays.
But here's the problem here. Toney's been a healthy scratch the last several games. I don't know that he's even going to dress.
Yeah, he might not. And I think I would rather dress McKinnon at this point than him, because McKinnon is a little more explosive and creates a different playbook.
Absolutely. All right, last rushing prop. Let's go back to another backup running back. We've got Eli Mitchell. Check this out. 4.5 yards.
Look,
we have seen games where Christian McCaffrey and Debo are the only people that touch the ball, and that Mitchell just sits on the sideline holding his helmet, waiting to play. But and that's the plan, right? I mean, it's definitely the plan. But 4.5 yards.
I mean, this goes back to, like you said, CEH. It's even worse though. He just needs that with one carry. He can get that, right? And then he doesn't get a carry.
One carry. And then he doesn't get a single carry. The simulator says he gets that in 73% of opportunities. Okay. So this is number 3 of my 14 leg parlay.
I like
is Eli Mitchell, 4.5.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go over to the receiving heat. Let's go over the receiving. We're going to get through the receiving, and then we're going to let you take it away on some weird bets, and we're going to go through the tackles. Oh, the tackles. I love the tackles. Woo! The tackles is the best prop bet in football. I'm just saying.
I agree. Yep. It's the best live bet too.
Yep. Let's see. Replay, buddy.
That's what I'm talking about, man. What's up, replay?
Love it. I believe those Super Bowl prop lines. Well, so under right now before kickoff to me seems like where the value lies. I can buy into that, buddy. Did you see his beautiful shirt that I gifted him? Or wasn't him. I'm sorry. Yes. That was Tano Ram. That was the other guy in the league. Yeah. We don't like Tano Ram. Replay Reels are San Francisco, buddy. Yeah.
So I came in with the bang bang.
Bang, bang, baby. All right. Anyways, let's get back to the receiving bets. And replay, my man, if you have any props you want me to run through this 10,000 game simulator, you just type it in there. I'll throw it in. We'll see what happens. All right. We got Kelsey. Let's start with Kelsey. He's got the most receiving yards, according to Vegas, at 70.5. That's a big number.
That is a big number, especially if they're going to take that man out.
They're going to try. I mean, everybody tries, right? That's
the thing. And then here he is down the field with some wonky throw by Mahomes that beats the guy for a 50-yard run.
Now, outside of stud tight ends, the 49ers have been one of the best teams in the league covering the tight end because they have incredible coverage linebackers. They've got guys like Bosa who can slide out and cover a tight end. They're very strong, but it's Kelsey.
Yeah.
So what do you think the simulator told me for 70.5?
It told you 70.5?
Yeah, that's the
So what
yardage.
I think is, I'll give it present. I think that the simulator is probably going to give you a 71.
You think so?
I think so.
I think you're off on this one, buddy. 42.78. The simulator
Oh!
believes in my Niners linebackers. They
That's
believe
like
in
the
it.
worst I had all day.
I know.
That's wild, man.
know.
That's okay. That's why, like sometimes, so that's saying right there that San Francisco is going to bottle him up outside some wonky play that goes for, like I said, 50.
Dude, I think they got to keep Kinlaw. They got to keep one of these guys has got to float with them no matter where he goes. You just got to do it. You got to trust in your front four. I don't think they need to get to Mahomes. I think you don't need to get to Mahomes, because I think what happens is it's the same thing with Lamar, right? You collapse that pocket on him. He scrambles. The Niners can't handle scramble drill, dude. They can't do it. They can't hold coverage. Their guys aren't good enough on the back end to hold coverage. They're just not.
Yeah.
That's when they get beat. Lamar put them to shame, just scrambling and let his guys get free. And KC's good at that too. So I think you don't necessarily try to collapse the pocket on Mahomes. You rush with your four guys. You try to keep him in that little pocket and make him throw the ball into our strength of our coverage. So back them up, man. Back all those linebackers up. Make them cover Pacheco on the out. Make them cover Kelsey.
Yeah.
Free up one-on-one against Rice, and we'll see what happens. I mean, Shanahan's smarter than I am. Otherwise, I'd be paid well. So,
see, I want to say something. When Rice caught that long catch a few weeks back, or whatever it was, there was that really, really long catch that looked like he was going to go all the way for a touchdown, but then he got caught. He lacks that breakaway speed, and the Niners don't really have. They have speed at that back where they'll be able to cover that a little bit. I mean, yes, he could get open for a big play, but at the same time, you're right. If they keep everything underneath them, like play that cover 2, then they should be okay. It's always that one guy that Kansas City sends flying, like MVS, Kelsey. That's the problem.
And we'll get to MVS in a minute here.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Rashee Rice, the next guy on the list. 68.5 yards for Rashee Rice. So what do you think here?
No, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
So simulator says he accomplishes over 68.5 and 57% of the time. The problem with it is that broken play possibility. Oops, we didn't tackle Mahomes. He got off to the side. Ward released off of him, and now he's open 40 yards down the field.
That is correct. That is 100 correct, man.
Right. It seems weird. And I'm going to highlight replay again because he's the guy commenting on us. But he said, yes, make him throw. Something KC hasn't had to do much to win this year. Force the rookie to step up. Don't let Pat create in the fly. Yes, you need to do it because it seems crazy to sit here and say the key to winning against Kansas City is forcing Mahomes to throw. That seems like a strange thing to say, but this is the year that makes it right. I think that's right. So Rice is, slightly favored to get that. He's still not on my 14-leg parlay. Let's go to Kittle.
I'm not touching that.
We got to go to Kittle here. Kittle, 49.5.
Oh, man, that dude kills me sometimes, man. Like that, when he can't even hit 25 yards, it just pisses me off. And then there's those games that he busts loose like Kelsey. He gets that deep coverage and he goes. And that's the thing. But that's where like Kansas City's strong at. So I think they can keep him under. So I haven't played. That's not my Kittle line that I'm playing. I'm playing a lot less yards with that.
All right. I thought the same thoughts. I think the number is a little lower than it probably would be for a couple reasons. One, they are pretty good in the linebackers for Kansas City. Two, he did nothing against the Lions. But if you go back and watch that dude had to babysit Hutchinson on the line that whole game. That's all he did was sit there and play with Hutch on the line. So the simulators say 70.82% of the time he goes over 49.5 today. So that was not my thought. My thought was Kittle was going to have to probably block again because they want to get the running. But the simulator makes me feel a little bit like, okay, maybe they're going to go. Snead is going to absolutely be on either Debo or Ayuk, right? They're going to try to contain CMC. And so you got to give up something. And maybe it's Kittle across the middle.
Yeah. And but the thing is that's when San Francisco does win too. like when Kittle goes off and nobody can stop Kittle, he starts making these crazy, insane catches.
Yep.
Like on the sideline. He just goes nuts. If that's happening, San Francisco's winning. Easy.
Yeah.
And I can see that Kittle. I can see that Kittle bet, man.
That's leg number 4, my friend. I am adding him in. That's my 4th leg of my 14-leg parlay. All right. So I'm taking Kittle over 49.5. Let's move on to Debo. Debo at 58.5.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love me some Debo in this game, though, because we've already said it that we think Debo is going to be getting those passes out of the backfield. He only gets 2 screens, and if they don't stop that screen, and Debo can get that 12 or 13-yard catch, and he does that 1 or 2 times for at least 20 yards, he's already almost halfway there.
Yep. So ran this through the simulator, 49.46. So they pretty much nailed that yardage is what the simulator is saying. So you add the simulator saying 49%, he goes over 58.5 receiving, and only 33% does he go over 16.5 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Those are pretty low numbers. So you add those together, round up a little bit, maybe you take 80 yards receiving, rushing combined under.
Yeah. Yeah. You could do that. Definitely.
Maybe.
But then
80,
again,
80 is such a sexy number though, because that's like right where I think Debo lands. So I think I got to just stay away. I got to stay away from all Debo props.
Yeah. Yeah. I think maybe this is one of those times you go look at how many alt receptions he has. If he has like 2 or 3, and that 3 is like a 460, that's worth playing because he's going to get at least 3 balls. Shanahan has highlighted Debo in all of these games recently since and he has come back through injuries. He's come back out. He was injured 3 times in that game, and he came back. He was like shoulder, and they're like, "Oh, is he going to play against the Lions?" I said, "Yes." What did we see him out there doing? Smashing people.
All right, we're 42 minutes deep already, Heat, and I'm not even halfway through receiving, so I'm going to kick up the speed a little bit. All right, we got Ayuk at 59.5. They have so many people they have to cover. They have to stop Kittle. They have to stop Debo. They have to stop CMC. They have to stop the greatest mobile quarterback of all time in Brock Purdy.
Oh, man, he's so sexy.
Ayuk could be the guy left alone, to be honest.
Yep. And that's might be the guy. I said the 4 for 152.
Yeah, I like it, man. Simulator says 71% of the time he's going to go over 59.5.
Boom.
Congratulations, you are number 5 of my 14-leg parlay. Mr. Ayuk at over 59.
They go to 5-0.
I like it. We're going to go on a stretch here, okay? We're going to go on a stretch, buddy. Okay. How about
let's do it.
Noah Gray, 13.5 yards.
See, he always gets those plays that are 15, 20 yards down the field, and he does usually catch those. But then, like we seen last game where he was 5 for 2, and he only got 8 yards. So for me, I'm searching like alt, or I'm searching for less yards from Noah Gray, which it is out there. It is. So you just got to find it. But definitely, like what you say, well, then play the under. No, go find that alt. And when you find that alt, that's when you play it, because right now, like I got it. We'll get to that.
I like receptions bets for him a little bit more. But anyways, we're talking yardage. 13.5, the simulator being fed 10,000 simulated games. 10,000. That's a lot of games. 73.18% of the time, Heat.
Woo! So they're saying that it's going to be Gray sneaking out because they do run the double tight end, and that's when he gets those catches.
So congratulations, Mr. Gray. You are number 6 of the 14-leg parlay. All right, we're moving on. How about Kyle Juszczyk?
Dude.
4.5. 4.5 yards.
Oh, dude. Look, this is one of those where they're 5 yards from the end zone, and then they do the fullback run, and that's when he gets the touchdown. Yep. So,
no, I need a catch. I need twinkle toes on the sideline like last week. I need a catch. 4.5 yards receiving.
See, that is tough, but they work him in. And if they're San Francisco again going to win this game, they're going to have to pull some stops out. That's one of those stops. I can see it.
My man, my simulator says 86.04% of the time, Kyle Juszczyk's going to get 4.5 yards or more. He's in. He's number 7. He's number 7, my man. All right, we're moving on.
There it is.
MVS at 19.5 yards. We talked about him a little bit earlier.
Yep, we did.
We said that they're going to try to stop Rice. Okay, Rice and Kelsey. It's all they really have to watch. What happens when Mahomes gets pushed out of the pocket? He scrambles. Everybody comes towards the ball in a scramble drill. Not MVS, since his days in Green Bay. With scramble drill, everybody comes in. MVS, you go diagonal across to the opposite corner of the field. And that's what they do with him. He's that guy that will get 3 targets. He'll have 1 catch, 75 yards, touchdown.
That is correct. And that is a prop bet. It says, will there be a 75+ yard touchdown? That's one of the guys that'll do it. Him and Ayuk.
Yep. So Simulator says 69.34% of the time he's going to go over 19.5. That's on my bubble. I told you I like 70, but I also like 69. So
that's not bad.
We're going to add him in. He's number 8. All right, let's keep going down. Let's get Jauan Jennings. All right, Jauan Jennings and CEH both on my total fade list for my DraftKings.
I agree.
Showdown lineup. However, 14.5 yards is all he needs. 14.5 yards. That's all he needs.
See, that's the MVS thing. But man, it's like when Debo's hot, even Ayuk gets forgotten about. That's the problem. That's what scares me sometimes with him, man. It's just he just goes games where like, yep, I'm here.
Yeah. You know? So here's the deal. Simulator says another 69%. Right now he's in for number 8. Okay. I only picked 10 to be fair. I'm building 14, but I'm taking 4 of your defensive plays to round it out. So maybe you talk me into 5 and I take Jennings out because I'm not real sold on it.
No, I'm
not real sold on it. All right, we're going to go to CMC, 33.5 yards receiving.
Yeah.
That's such an accurate number. It seems to be where he lays unless he breaks one.
Yeah. That's the thing. And sometimes like the way that San Francisco's been featuring, and of course he has broken some big runs, has been featuring Debo. It's been like that for him. So I haven't seen that consistent where that 33 might not be the number to get. That one a little scares me a little bit. That scares me.
Yeah. Simulator says 54% of the time. Now let's look at this. Okay. He got 89.5 yards was the rushing prop.
Yep.
It said 62% of the time he'd go over.
Yeah.
Okay. 33.5 is the receiving bet. They say 54% of the time he's going over. How about we combine it for 125 total yardage and go over?
Yep, I like it. As a matter of fact, I have that as down on my DraftKings. I have that as McCaffrey rushing receiving. Our FanDuel has a 128.5 and it's a negative 110.
They think he's going to do it.
Yeah, they do. And I think if the Niners win, they have to do it. Even if they lose, he's still going to be getting all those passes underneath.
The only way he doesn't go over 120 yards, all-purpose yards, is he gets hurt. That's it.
Yep, I'm totally on board with that.
Yeah, in a win or a lose, that's what's happening. All right, we're going to go to Isaiah Pacheco, 17.5 yards receiving. I'm going to skip the fanfare and just go straight to 41%. They don't think he's going to do it. Especially if we watch the news, if they activate Jerick McKinnon, Pacheco is not going to get those dump offs. But
no. And when he does get him, he only gets about 8, 9, 10.
So here's another thing I like to do. They really liked his rushing at 67.5. So maybe you take this 17, the 17.5, and you add it to that 67.5, and you get yourself at 85 yards all-purpose yard, and you go over.
Yep. Yeah.
I kind of like it.
That's it right there.
I kind of like it. And then the largest simulated over of the week, I ran everything I could think of for receiving and rushing yards. CEH at 5.5 says he's going to do it in 93% of simulations. This is another one I love. I've added it to my bet. That's number 10 right there, except for if McKinnon is activated, CEH is donezo. He won't even touch a ball.
Exactly. That's when maybe you just go save that bet for later, then get and cash out that bet if it's still available, and then make that move right there. But when you brought up the Russian receiving yards, I totally like that as well. He's definitely, because we already talked about the rushing with him, he's going to get that. So all it takes, and that's even with, I think, with McKinnon active, he'll still be able to hit that. 88.5 is what he's got on.
All right. So Replay wants to know if loading the box is just the answer to stop Isaiah Pacheco. I mean, yeah, you could load the box and stop him. The problem with that is you leave Rashee Rice in single coverage. You leave Kelce in single coverage. I don't think that that's a good idea. Maybe it just depends on how Ward matches. I mean, Ward's got a vendetta, right? I mean, this guy's been talking trash for 2 weeks. Yeah, maybe. Honestly, I want them to run with Pacheco. I want them to do it. I would, if we end the game with 80 yards from Pacheco, I think the 49ers are winning because
I agree with that. 100.
Yeah, I don't know.
100.
I don't know.
If you take him out and you cover Kelce, I think easily the 49ers win that game.
Yeah. But so, I think you let him run the ball. You let him run the ball and you just take away Rice and Kelce and see what happens.
Yeah, honestly. Like you said, get them fives. Them fives sometimes don't add up on third down.
Replay's dropping that DVOA, baby. The Niners have the 6th or 7th highest DVOA in like Super Bowl history coming in. That's good.
Oh, that's why we love Replay. That's why we love you, man. That's why we love our subs only Discord. That's why people got to get there, man. We have some of the best content from not only us, but a lot of our followers and subs. They come in, man. These guys are on fire.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. All right, there are some people listening and watching. If they want to drop a prop bet in, let me know. Replay, come on, give me a prop bet to put in the simulator while Heat talks about
get it.
All right, Heat. Let's get some defense in here. I gotta log back in. My app timed out on me. Hold on. I gotta log back in because I gotta add the last few legs here. All right, hit me. You just put a Fred Warner bet in while we were getting ready for the show. What did you do?
All right. So with the Fred Warner bet on, and this is DK, of course, because I know you were playing on DK.
Yes,
so
sir.
They actually have a Fred Warner sack. So on DK, over 8.5 is a -110. If people would have been on the show that we did to Bring the Pain at the time, Warner was at an 8.5 and it was a plus on FanDuel. So that was a huge bet that I found with Warner. It was a plus 100. That's that I put 2 units on that easily because Warner is a beast. He's one of those linebackers that's a beast. This is a Super Bowl. He's going to be everywhere. He's going to get 9+ tackles. If he doesn't, I don't know what happened. Then I guess San Francisco didn't tackle anybody because that's the man. And even in games that he's slow in Greenlaw seems like he's still over. You look at the final stat sheet and you'll see, Warner 10 tackles. So
well, DK has him right now over under 5.5.
Oh, total tackles is the 8.5. So the five stops does change it up a little bit.
This is solo tackles.
Yes, exact solo tackles.
So you want me to go to tackles and assist is what you're trying to tell me?
Yes.
8.5.
But you cannot. Right. 8.5 right there. Boom.
8.5. Is that an over? You like that?
Yeah, dude. It's Fred Warner, man.
At it.
You said right there that if they drop Fred Warner back, even if they run Pacheco up the middle, guess who's going to be there? It's going to be Greenlaw and it's going to be Warner. Now, I don't like Greenlaw's 8.5 tackles and assists because I think that's a plus 100, 110 or something at the time. I don't like that because I'm all in on Fred Warner. I know who the superstar on defense is.
Yeah. All right. That's number 11. It's number 11 in my parlay.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have a question here? Replay wants to see Jauan Jennings reception prop 1.5. Is that what you're asking me?
Oh man,
I don't know what third in Jauan Jennings means. Is that third downs?
Yeah,
I don't know if I can actually run third downs on the simulator, but I can run total receptions.
Yeah, I think that's what they have a -1.5. Yep. I don't.
I actually don't see receiving on my thing here, and I don't want to exit out because I've got 11 legs of a parlay building right now.
Yeah. Don't do it. Don't do it because you know.
Right, I've got 10. I got 10. I think I took the Jauan out of there.
All right. So we got it. So another thing that DK is doing too right now is Chris Jones, 2.5 total tackles. They're giving him a plus 130. If Chris Jones is able to wreck, or it doesn't matter if Christian McCaffrey gets 22 rushes in this game, the way that the level that Chris Jones plays at, that's 3 tackles for him at a plus 130. it's definitely worth the shot.
Yeah. All right. Let me see if I can find Chris Jones in here. Chris Jones, 2.5.
2.5.
That's what you're saying, over 2.5?
Over 2.5.
It's plus 130 odds.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
baby. All right.
Uh-huh.
All right. That's leg number 11.
That's
All right.
Number 11.
All right. Replay. I ran your Juwan Jennings prop bet, and it says 1.5, 10,000 simulated games. He hits that only 31.78% of the time.
I think they hit him more than me.
They don't like him. That is a strong under.
Got to believe in your stars when it's the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wow. I'm actually surprised by that.
Returning kicks.
I thought it would be like a 51%. I thought it would be a slight favor, but it's not. It's no good.
No,
it's no good. Oh, yeah. Elijah Mitchell returning kicks. I like that.
You got to bring it out. It's like when the Giants.
Can I get a prop bet on Elijah Mitchell returning at least one kick?
Dude, yeah. Can we get that? FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM. Throw that bet in there. Come on, man. Watch it.
Yeah. You got to go into the overseas and Asian markets for those kind of things, buddy. You got to get over there. All right. I got 11 on my slip now. Let's move along. What else you got?
Hey, so those were the guys that I did highlight defensively. So as we're going to go regular, you haven't played. You can put the alt lines in, right? On DK. So if you got the alt lines. Okay. So here's your alt lines right here. You get, Pacheco. You already got him in rushing on there, right? So you can't double that up.
Nope.
All right.
Yeah.
You got Kelsey.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I didn't make any bets on Kelsey.
On there. You didn't make any bets.
Bets on Debo.
You didn't make any bets. So run Debo alt line. It's plus 40 on DK is a negative 340. So plus 40 alt receiving yards. And then Kelsey over alt receiving yards is 50 yards as well too. That's a plus 330. So nice. That's kind of like right there. You're taking off that edge. You're taking off that 67, 69. You're taking off that 59, 58, whatever that was with Debo, and you're moving it back a little, just back a little. You're losing a little bit of money, but in a parlay, sometimes you got to go back a little.
You have any feelings at all? Can you pull one out of the psychic third eye for me of who's going to get what I predict maybe the one and only sack of the game? I don't think we're going to see a lot of sacks.
I can agree with that. And that, again, when we highlight a couple prop bets that they kind of threw together as highlights, there's a reason for that. I think Chris Jones does get the sack. Purdy's always back there chilling sometimes. When breaks down, he makes that sidestep before he takes off. When he sidesteps, that's usually where Chris Jones is. That's why I'm looking at Chris Jones as that. I'm not calling him the MVP, even though I said I played that bet, and I did. But Chris Jones does have a chance, an opportunity for tackles, an opportunity for sack. It's Chris Jones.
All right. You didn't seem all that confident to add it to my giant legs, though.
You can add it. I don't know if they allow it, though. Do they?
No, they have sacks. I just don't know if I can add it into the big parlay.
Oh, then don't do it. Yeah. That's
right now. It's stopping me at 10. It won't let me do more than 10 right now.
Okay.
Smart.
Well,
they're smart.
Hey, that's it. What is your betting odds right now on that 10?
Hold on, I gotta get rid of this Juwan Jennings leg though. That's awful. I gotta get rid of that.
Yeah, get rid of that.
All right, I'm back to 9. Where was the other guy? Who is? Oh, it's Chris Jones. Oh, it won't let me add that in.
Yeah.
Let me add Fred Warner, but it won't let me add Chris Jones in.
2 weeks ago, or actually for the past couple of weeks, and this is why some of these sites hate me, is I've been live, like when I was talking about, not only just live, I was able to parlay defensive tackles before games, and I get them in there real quick, and then because you parlay, you get a higher odds. So that's why that Chris Jones 130, if it was, it's not allowed. I already checked it, like you said, and then that Warner 8.5 over being that negative, that's an easy bet right there. That's big money. So that's why they don't let that happen. And it was available only a couple weeks ago. So, they do watch people like me.
Yeah, I think I got to start this all over because I think maybe some odds changed because it just locked me out of being able to put my entry in. Oh,
because they're watching us.
I know they're watching us right now. They're watching. These guys know too much.
Yeah, yeah. And they're saying that's that dude that always be in there with them live bets. Yeah.
Right.
I've lost a couple by like a half yard or just something like that. But at the same time, those are the ones that hit. Look, if it's on there and it's an odd, I will tell you one time, and this happened this football season, I was placing a bet. It placed the bet, and then a screen popped up and it said bet reversed, bet money refunded.
Yep.
And I was like, that bet went through. It would have won. It was a big parlay. Yep. But they knew that I somehow got that in before they changed it and caught it. And that is crazy. I'm not saying they just do it to me. They do it to a lot of us when we're watching live.
They're good. Yeah. They're good. Yeah. All right. We got to wrap this up, Heath. So I know you have a couple of funky ones on there. What do you got?
Okay. All right. So since you love DK, DraftKings, let's do what's an octopus? Did you know what an octopus was?
No idea.
So an octopus is somebody that scores a touchdown and then does the 2-point conversion afterwards.
Interesting. Okay.
It is very interesting. So there's a question on there. It says, will there be an octopus? The yes is a plus 1,000 and the no is a negative 3,500. So really, if you just throw a unit on one and a unit on the other, if one wins and you do get a McCaffrey touchdown in a McCaffrey 2-point conversion. Did I just say that? Yeah, I said that because that's who's going to do it. Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, Pacheco could do it too. So that's two backs right there.
I wish you could bet on the individual person to do that, and I'd put it on Kyle Juszczyk for $5 and turn that $5 into like 300.
I do. I bet the odds on that would be 150,000. Guessing that's it. So you got that right there. They have a Debo plus Rice. It's boosted right now, one catch each. There's no reason. It's a plus 100, so it's boosted on DK. I don't see how Debo or Rice don't catch a ball. Right?
How about this?
So
tell me this. I know you have this on your list, right? Is there odds for a McCaffrey or a Debo passing touchdown?
See, that's on that list. And that goes with the Kelsey. Kelsey, the Chiefs always love to have Kelsey throw those touchdowns. So that right there, that's why I love that right there. I love that bet. I mean, dude, that's insane. What was it? I'm like, where's that? Is that the FanDuel one? Yeah. So it's any non-quarterback to throw a touchdown. It's a plus 3,500. I'm throwing 2 units on that. That's easily $70 back if any one of those teams decides to do it, which we've seen it happen. Wasn't it just against the Lions or Green Bay that Debo threw a pass to? I've seen that.
Well, McCaffrey has got a few bombs in his repertoire going all the way back to high school. So I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. What's the crazy one on there? We've hit our hour. We got to get out of here.
All right. Look, they got Kelsey 20 yards receiving yards. I think that's one of those highlighted ones. 20 yards in the first quarter. I love it. It's a 110. If Kelsey's going to go down and you're looking at Kelsey to be the first touchdown scorer, then that's the way you go. Now, this is going back to another thing too. They are highlighting a Bosa. This on DK. Bosa 1 sack. Warner just 7+ total tackles. That's a plus 175. San Francisco wins. Guess who gets that? That's easy. 2 units. And then you go Kelsey 1 rushing yard plus 400. If they do that little handoff with Kelsey, or Kelsey takes that direct snap, goes forward for a touchdown, 1-yard touchdown, then Kelsey's probably not getting the ball the rest of the game, and you hit your bet, right? So you get that. Another bet on DK. I know you're about to get in this one. Mahomes, 15+ yards rushing, and Mahomes 215 yards passing. It's a negative 140 unit. Hit it. What do you think?
Yeah, I dig those wild bets. Just throwing them in there, man. Absolutely love it. How about there's got to be one for like a blocked field goal return because Moody's been shaky.
There definitely is. Another one on FanDuel I like is Travis All Too Well touchdown in the first 10 minutes for Travis Kelsey is 1,000. So first touchdown score anytime Kelsey, you're not going to be able to pair it because that's a highlight. Maybe they won't like that. That plus 1,000, you play all those bets. And if it hits, you're about to win a lot of money. You could throw 2 units on any of those. Say that 2 units is just $1. You throw $6, you're easily going to be returning over $30, $40.
Fair enough. So, all right. Well, I appreciate you, sir. Thanks for coming on.
Let me throw out 2 through 3. I got 2 parlays. FanDuel, Kelsey over 40 yards, negative 600. Pacheco, that's receiving yards. Pacheco rushing yards, all 40 plus 600. Debo, 40 yards receiving plus 280. It parlays for a 709. You could throw 2 units on that. DraftKings, you're going to do Pacheco plus 40, alt rush, negative 310. That's almost half better, right? Kelsey plus 50, negative 330. Debo plus 40, negative 340. That goes to a 114. You throw 2 units on that, and that's your easy parlays of the day. Oh, yeah.
Love it, my friend. All right. For Johnny Danger and Heat Override, compliments of drroto.com. Put away those insurance cards. Thank you for paying your copay. We appreciate you. Go to drroto.com, sign up for our package. We've got golf. We've got the best 2 hockey minds in DFS. We have an entire team dedicated to college basketball. We got Willie and the crew doing NBA. We got me and all the guys doing PGA, getting wild. We've got it all season long. Stick with us. It's totally fine. And we'll catch you all, I am sure, very, very soon. Heat, have a good night, my friend.
Oh, yeah. Have a great one too, Danger.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.